Good morning, everyone. Today we will talk about Wordsworth. Wordsworth is the first of the poets of the first generation of Romanticism we will talk about. If we had to summarize Wordsworth's thought in just a few words, we could say Wordsworth or the importance of nature, just because of the importance that nature had in his life, all his life long. He was born in 1770 and he spent his childhood in the Lake District, a beautiful countryside area on the border between Scotland and England. That was to him a huge source of inspiration all life long. As most intellectuals of his time, he shared the enthusiasm for the French Revolution, but when the period of terror followed the French Revolution, he was strongly disappointed, as all the other intellectuals of his time, and everyone reacted in a different way, as we will see for other poets such as Coleridge and Blake. But he got on the edge of a nervous breakdown. And he was healed from this nervous breakdown only by the contact with nature. In fact, he moved along with his sister in Dorset, that was another countryside area in England. And a little time later, he moved to the countryside of Somerset, where he met a person. He made friends with Coleridge that would be a crucial presence in his life, also because they decided to collaborate in writing a collection of of poems, that is the lyrical ballads. In the famous preface that is to the lyrical ballads, that is a sort of an introduction to it. Wordsworth theorized about what he had in mind when writing his contribution to the lyrical ballads. That was he had to write on beauty of nature and ordinary things, and what Coleridge had as his purposes, that is, he had to describe visionary, supernatural and mysterious topics. Wordsworth so had to talk about low and rustic life, and he had to talk about nature, about natural things, natural landscapes. But what was important was not the description of the landscapes in themselves. What was important is the sensations, the emotions, the feelings that the poet felt when in touch with nature, when he observed these landscapes. In his observations, two senses were the most important ones in Wordsworth, that were the eye and the ear. And he had to talk about the low and rustic life because they were purer and close to God. Hence, the idea that Wordsworth had of pantheistic nature, the pantheistic view, that is, God manifests himself in nature, that is, God is everywhere, and the poet that has a greater sensitivity than the other men becomes sort of a teacher. He becomes a mediator between God/nature and the other men. But what does God teaches through nature? He teaches the true values of life. He teaches the moral values to live a moral life, to live in a moral way. And it is just in the description of the low and rustic life that we can find the true values of life, because as Rousseau had stated before, only the child and the rustic person, the noble sauvage, were closer to God and were pure because unspoiled by civilization. Man and nature are inseparable. Nature is made of inanimate things, but also of human beings. They are all parts of the same whole. Nature comforts man in sorrow, and in this case we can make a comparison with Leopardi, that on the contrary thought that nature was an enemy to man. He talked about natura matrigna. On the contrary, in Wordsworth, nature is a source of joy and teaches men to act in a moral way. And also a very important role was that of memory, because memory has the power to reproduce later, thanks to the power of imagination, an emotion given by a natural landscape some time earlier, and give it a poetic form. That is, the poet observes a landscape, and this landscape arouses an emotion, a sensation, a feeling in the poet. Sometime later, he decides to, through memory, to write a poem. And in this poem, he reproduces, he recalls the same emotions that he had proved sometime earlier, and he gives the reader of the poem the same sensation, the same emotion that he had felt some time earlier. In the last stanza of the poem Daffodils, he referred openly to this recollection in tranquillity of natural pleasures from the past, but we will talk about that when dealing with this poem. Okay, goodbye guys, see you next time, bye.